So some of you out there have taken my 10 reasons why car life sucks and really looked at it in a negative way. Believe me, that was never my intention. I love living in my car. It has given me so many amazing opportunities, but I am human. So there are days when I absolutely hate it, but that's all a part of it. But for the most part, I love it because, like I said, it's given me so much freedom. And at the end of the day, I'll take freedom over anything. Okay? So this is more of a follow-up to the 10 reasons why car life sucks. In this video, I'm going to discuss, the 10 reasons why car life is so amazing. So welcome to Drifting into Freedom. So this list isn't in any particular order. These are just some of the 10 things that I love about car life. Some of them are debatable, like this first one. Doing laundry at the laundromat versus doing it at home. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, we didn't have a washer and dryer in our home. So a lot of times we had to go to the laundromat, and those were the days that I absolutely hated because in my mind, I was stuck in this building and I didn't want to be there. It's so funny because now that I'm an adult living in a house and an apartment, I've always had some type of laundry area in my apartment or Airbnb. And so now that I'm living in my car, I don't actually have a laundry room per se. So one of the things that I have to do now is go to the laundromat. But the one thing that I find really interesting about doing laundry in a house or an apartment versus doing it at the laundromat is, I don't know about you, but when I had my apartment and I used to do my laundry in my apartment, for some reason, it would take me all day long to do laundry for some reason. Now, the weird thing is when I go to the laundromat, I can do my laundry in less than 3 hours, sometimes even less than 2, which is so amazing. And so definitely, I know it's kind of debatable because obviously having a washer and dryer at home is definitely convenient. But for me, when I look at the amount of time spent washing clothes, the laundromat kind of wins this one. I don't know about you, but it definitely wins this round. So yeah, doing my laundry at the laundromat versus doing it at an Airbnb or an apartment. I'd rather do it at a laundromat so that I'm done in less than 2 hours, which is always nice to have your Saturday back. Believe me. This one is probably my favorite one. No longer having to pay rent. So one of the biggest benefits about living in your car versus living in a house or an apartment, it's obvious. Living in your car means no more rent, which is absolutely amazing because at the end of the day, that extra money that used to go towards my rent or used to go towards my Airbnb, I can now use that money to either save or invest. So it's definitely feels nice to have extra money every month versus having to dish out that money and put it towards, my rent. When I did live in an apartment or an Airbnb, I was living literally paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking after I pay my rent, after I pay all my bills, it was really, really difficult. In some cases, I was lucky if I had money for gas. I was lucky if I had money for food. And a lot of times I would have to go to my parents because I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. So now that I no longer have to pay rent, that has been a huge game changer for me because like I said, I'm able to save up that extra money, which has been amazing. Another thing is my favorite, minimalism. I am a minimalist to the fullest. One of the things that car life, I would even say even prior to car life, living in an Airbnb has made me really focus on downsizing, getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't need. So I've always kind of had that minimalistic way of living. Now that I live in my car, I have less space than, like your average house or an apartment. So one of the things that I'm forced to do is really focus on my needs versus my wants. Do I really need this or do I want this just because it's there? Especially even when it comes down to shopping. I've gotten to the point that I have to stay out of Walmart because I go into Walmart for one thing and I come out of Walmart with a whole couple of bags full of all of this stuff I don't need. So I'll put it this way. I used to do that. So now that I live in my car, I'm almost forced to really think about things in terms of, can I fit this in my car? Do I really need this? And if I don't, then I can't buy it. Downsizing for me has been a game changer. It also has allowed me to not be in love with things. Meaning if I was to move to, like, let's say Oklahoma today, and I needed to get rid of half of my stuff, sometimes when we have stuff that we've grown to love, you almost develop some type of an attachment to it. But I feel like now that I have grown to this whole minimalistic way of living, I am no longer attached to my stuff. Let me tell you, it is the most freeing way to live when you are not attached to items in a sense. It is the most freeing way to live life, and I love it. Definitely love it. Another thing is I am able to save a lot more. Again, when you don't have to pay rent, I am able to put that extra money towards savings, which has been amazing. And I'm not talking about just putting my money into a bank account and the bank paying me 0.00001% at the end of the year. I'm talking about investing. I am a huge proponent, especially when it comes down to investing. At the end of the day, you shouldn't just have to work for your money. Your money should be working for you always. Don't get me wrong, saving is great, but isn't it nice to put your money into an investment where your money is actually going to grow, such as an IRA or something that's going to, double and triple your money over the course of time? So one of the things that I love doing now that I have extra money to save is I usually like to take the extra money that I have at the end of the week and I'm able to put that towards a Roth. And the good thing about that is, it's also great for taxes because it puts me in a lower tax bracket. So sure, my job takes the money out of my paycheck every week. It's nothing like having your own investments growing off to the side as well. Because at the end of the day, I want my money to grow. I don't know if any of you out there have heard of FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So I'm on this FIRE journey, which was also one of the reasons why I really wanted to move into my car, because I saw the huge savings there in terms of me being able to save money and really taking that extra added cash and putting it towards, other investment platforms. So my next one is probably one of my favorite ones, which is exercising. If you don't know, I'm originally from Philadelphia. So growing up in Philadelphia, obviously it's a major city. So I didn't have to have a car growing up. You could hop on the public transportation, the bus, the trains. And so when I was back home, I used to walk a lot around the city. If I wanted to get from point A to point B, I didn't use a cab. I didn't use an Uber. It was literally taking the public transportation. And so I did a lot of walking. Now, when I moved out of Philadelphia and I got my car, I somewhat became more lazier. So now that I live in my car, exercising is a must. And this lifestyle has definitely forced me to get back into my my roots. So I'm really grateful that I'm able to really focus more on, exercising more. So, hey, believe it or not, I am up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day, which, if you know me, that is probably a no-no. For the most part, my work schedule is pretty late. So the old me used to get up at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And, since part of the week I would work from home, I would literally get up and, shower, whatever the case may be. And then I would start work. Whereas now I am literally getting up every single morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. The old me, you used to have to force me to get out of bed because I wasn't even looking at you at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's how stubborn I was. But now that I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, oh, wow. It's been amazing because I'm able to get up. I'm able to plan out my day and really focus on things that need to be done. I like to go to the gym. I like to exercise, get my coffee or my tea. For some reason, I feel like I have more energy now that I do that, which is kind of strange. Like I said, I think it's because I'm on a schedule because I feel way more productive at the end of the day. Also, I know this may sound weird, but I sleep better in my car than I have ever slept in a house, an Airbnb, or an apartment. And I know this sounds weird, but I think it's because ever since I've been in Atlanta, I have always had roommates. Atlanta is really expensive. So I think part of me not being able to sleep was the fact that I had someone else in the house or an apartment. At one point, I thought I actually had insomnia. I just was not sleeping. It even got so bad to the point where I stopped drinking coffee because I was just like, literally every time my head would hit the pillow, it was like almost like my brain would start racing. And for whatever reason, I just could not sleep. And I know exercising has a lot to do with me sleeping better as well. But for some reason, I definitely sleep in my car better than, like I said, any house or apartment that I've ever slept in years. Again, I know it sounds weird, but you know, you're sleeping in a car surrounded by woods or whatever the case may be. But I've gotten some of my best sleep in my car. Yeah, definitely in my car. This kind of goes hand in hand with the saving of the money. But again, now that I'm no longer paying rent, I'm also able to put that extra money towards my debt. And again, that has been a huge game changer because I am actually speeding up the process of me getting rid of my debt at a quicker rate, as opposed to before. I would, pay my rent and I was paying the minimum. And now I'm able to put a couple of $100 more down on my debt. And it has been amazing. My goal for the year is to get rid of at least half of my debt for the year. And I can definitely see that happening now that I live in my car. Whereas before I was only able to pay the minimum. So now I'm actually able to put a little bit more towards my debt. And again, it's been such an amazing feeling. I can't even express to you how amazing it feels to really just start to see that interest, start to come down. And oh God, it feels so amazing. So that has definitely been a game changer for me. The next one is my favorite, traveling. Having the freedom to travel and the ability to be able to do it whenever I want. Now, in this case, we'll say only on the weekends because I still have to go into the office throughout the week. But, just being able to take weekend trips has been amazing. Let's say if I want to take a trip to Florida for the weekend, I can go to Florida and just really relax and, enjoy. And even if I want to just, splurge a little bit on a meal, it just feels so good to be able to have the freedom to travel. Now, of course, my goal is to get a fully remote position. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get that sometime this year, because if I was to get a fully remote position, this is going to allow me to really be able to travel around, parts of the United States and even do some international traveling as well. So I've definitely been going to work when it comes down to those applications, because having a full remote position is going to allow me to be a little bit more free. But for the moment, I can still design my travel around my work from home. So that's been amazing. Back in October, we went to New Mexico. And of course, in December, we went to Philadelphia, New York. So being able to travel is amazing. Another thing is having the ability to live wherever I want to live. Last year, I applied for 18 positions. One was in New York. Originally, I'm from Philadelphia. So one of the reasons why I wanted to move to New York was because I wanted to be closer to home. But New York is a more expensive city. And so I ended up turning down a position because I was like, there's no way my job is going to pay me enough money to afford ramen noodles living in a big city like that. And of course, I have my bills. So I ended up walking away from an opportunity to actually move to New York because for me, it was just the cost of living. But the cool thing is now that I live in my car, I no longer have to worry about moving to a city or a state that is way too expensive. And it feels good to be able to live life where you can just live anywhere you want. Like if I wanted to move to California tomorrow, I can move to California and get paid California dollars, but be able to, pocket that money or reinvest that money or put that money into some of my debt. So again, having the ability to move anywhere I want has definitely been such an amazing experience for me. And now, now that I live in my car, I can pretty much live anywhere I want. If I were to get a remote position, I could even possibly live overseas. So when you think of the endless possibilities that this whole experience allows you to have, living in my car has been one of the most amazing things that I could have done for myself. Being able to live where I want to live, being able to invest, being able to travel. So I hope I cleared that up for most of you out there. I have nothing against car life. I love it. It's amazing. It's the most freeing thing that you can imagine, especially if you have debt, or even if you're trying to focus on retiring early or investing or whatever your situation may be. It's not for everyone, but it definitely has been an amazing experience for me. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as we drift into freedom together. See you soon. If you're a little bit curious about how much money I spend within the month, definitely check out my next video.